Hello friends, welcome to the channel retailconnect.com. Okay, in this session we will discuss the JavaScript topic. What is the difference between where, let and constant? So this is the important questions asked in the interview as well, and you should have a knowledge of what is this and what is the difference between them so that you can easily use in your coding. Okay. So let's start with an example on the stacklist.com. Okay. So we have a JavaScript project here, simple project to demonstrate. Okay. So we have some scenario where we will test the differences between all of them. So what are the scenarios? You can see we have listed here. That is the scope, posting, declaration, redeclaration, and updation. In all scenario, we will check what is the difference between the where, let, and constant. Okay, so these are all the keywords. Okay, so first thing keep in mind that let and constant arrived in our ES6 version. Earlier it was not available. Earlier only where was available. So actually where was some issues, and to overcome that issue, the let and constant has arrived. Okay, so we will discuss one by one situations, scenarios, and we will use the examples of them. Okay, so first of all, what we will use the scope one. Okay, so for scope, how it's behave, let, where, and constant. So let's suppose we have a variable a, okay, and 10, and here have variable b equal to 4. Okay, and if we have a scope condition here, if b is greater than 3, we have a scope here, block scope. Okay, not the scope, we have a block here, it's basically a block, and we will have here console.log a. Okay, okay, so you can see we have here 10. Okay, now what we will do, we will copy this one and we will place outside this, and here we will console the a. Okay, now we will comment this out. Okay, so here what we will do, we will write b equal to a equal to 12. So now what you see that in this block started with curly bracket, and this is a simple block, and inside this block if we updated any variable which was declared outside the block, it is also updating the outsider. Okay, so you are getting this. If you write with where, you will get the similar data. Okay, but what will happen if you want not to update this one? So you have to use only here. Okay, so for that you have to use your let here, let a equal to 10, and if you again want to declare on a, because a is already here, we will have to use let. Okay, so you can see what you can see, we have a let outside the block, and we have a let with a variable inside our block. Okay, but it is not overriding the main one. But in the case of where, you can see that it was overriding the this one. Okay, so here if you define with let a, then it will not overwrite with your outsider block, means outsider scoped. Okay, so that means this let is only working inside this one. Okay, so this is the scope. Basically this one also works same with the constant. If you have a constant here, and if you want to define again its constant inside that block, you will have the same, it is not overriding the upper one. Okay, so here if you console the a, you will get the 12, and if you console the outside, you will get the this one. Okay, so this is the game of block scope. Okay, so let and constant only works inside your block. It will not override your parent scoped variable. Okay, so second one is hosting. Hosting means defining a variable before calling the variable before defining it. Okay, so for that, let we have a variable a equal to 10, and what will we do? We will just console.log a. You will see that you are getting undefined, but you are not getting error. Okay, so what happens if we have let here? So you can see cannot access a before initialization. So you are getting error in case of let. Same as constant. If you are using the constant, you are also getting the same error. So this is called the hoisting. You can only use the where in hoisting scenario. Otherwise, let and constant will not work with hoisting case. Okay, where will always work, but it will give undefined. Okay, that means there will be no error. And the third thing is declaration. See, if you declare a variable, it is okay. If you declare let a equal to 10, it is okay. Okay, and if you declare this one, it is okay. But what happen if you not initialize value to the array? There is no error. Okay, same if you do with let, you don't have error. But if you use constant, you will get error that it need on declaration. Okay, means constant must have be declared at its initial declaration. Means it should be have a value when you declare it. Okay, so that means in declaration you must have value in constant, and let and variable will be okay if you don't give any value. Okay, redeclaration. Let's suppose we have a var here and we have another var here with 12. Okay, so this is working properly, you don't have any error here. Okay, but what happen if you have let here and let here? So you can see there is error that a has been already been declared. Okay, that means you can't redeclare let. Okay, similarly with if you have one var and again if you want to define with let, you have also the same error. You have already been defined, means you can't do like this, that if a is declared with variable a, you can't use that same variable with let. Okay, same for constant. If you have a constant here, the same error will be there, and you can't also define the two constants with same name. Okay, the last one is updation. So let's suppose var equal to this and var equal to this. Okay, so here what we are doing, we are just updating the value. If you remove that, then it also will be updating. Okay, that means you can, if you console that one, if you console that one a, you will get the updated one value. So what happens if you do it with let? So in this case, you will have updated one. Okay, but you can't do like that here. Okay, now comes to the constant. So if you have a constant, see, you have an error that assignment to constant variable. So in updation scenario, we can't update a constant variable. Okay, so you can't update this, means whatever you have defined at the first time, it should remain be the same in your whole life cycle. Okay, and you have to give value at the initialization time, otherwise it will also throw error. That means in updation, constant will not work, in redeclaration, let and constant will not work. Updation in constant will not work. Okay, and in the declaration, we all can declare, but the constant must have value at the initialization. Okay. Constant must have value at time of initialization. Hosting where can be only used in hosting scenario. Okay, and scope, block the scope. Block the scope. We have constant and let. For block the scope, we use constant and let, and for global scope, we have functional scope, we use where. So these are the basic differences, okay, between the where, let, and constant. In scope, if we have blocked scope, then we will use constant and let. If we want to use the global and functional scope, then we will use where. Okay. In hosting, where can only be used, and let and constant will throw error. Okay. It will be give you undefined, but it can be used. Okay. So declaration, constant must have value at initial time. Okay. Let and where can be initialized without any value. Okay. Redeclaration, in redeclaration, where can be redeclared, and the let and constant will not work. Okay. That means you can't redeclare with the same keyword constant with the same name. Okay. And updation, constant will not updated. Okay. It will remain until the life cycle of a updation. Okay. So this is the basic difference between let, where, and constant. And you have let, and let was introduced. So basically, where was introduced earlier in all versions, and constant comma let introduced in ES6 version. Okay. So these are the basic differences between where, let, and constant. Okay. Subscribe our channel for upcoming more videos on the JavaScript topics in deep. And thanks for watching. Okay.